everyone. How y'all doing?
Good.
What's up, Miss
Great.
April? Doing great.
Not much.
Say hi to everyone who's tuning in right now. Please be
Hello,
sure.
people.
Please be sure to like, share. Hey, Meg. Tag someone. Share to all the groups that you're in. This month is well. First, I want to say we missed y'all last week. We did. We took a little break last week. I felt a little bad, but then I did, and I was like, I need to take a break. But I'm sure a lot of you will understand. But please be sure to like, share, invite people. Invite people. It is it's a lot of awareness this month. Breast cancer awareness, domestic violence awareness is another. Something else? No, not sure.
I'm not sure. But yesterday was a big day. It was Taco Day. It was National Taco Day. It was National Vodka Day. It was a lot of national days.
What? So I'm Jamila Hanif. I'm your host. Fatima, that's Fatima Hanif. She's the co-host. And our special guest is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. You good? You cool? Fatima, you good?
Yeah, I was reading the comment. Yes, I'm great. I am great.
That's so funny. I was reading it too.
Yes.
I was funny, so that's like a funny. So thank you for everybody tuning in on YouTube. We got a lot of YouTube viewers right now. So April.
Yes.
How are you again?
Absolutely fabulous.
Absolutely fabulous. I am so happy that you are here today. I really am. I really, really am. When was the first time you heard about ACEs?
The first time I heard about ACEs was probably about 3 years ago after you introduced me to it.
Okay. Because I'm serious about it. It's very important for everyone to know about it. So this platform is used to raise awareness about ACEs. For those of you who don't know what ACEs is an acronym for Adverse Childhood Experiences. Kaiser and CDC conducted a study between 1995 and 97 on 17,800 of their HMO members. They did this because they found, a lot of their patients had chronic illnesses or they were obese, and so they were wondering what was going on. So they created a questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, there are 10 questions, which are the 10 indicators. Someone with 4 or more of these ACEs are at a higher risk of obtaining these some chronic illnesses if it's not taken care of, if it's not addressed. The 10 indicators split up in 3 categories: abuse, neglect, and dysfunctional household. Fatima, do you want to share those 10 indicators with our viewers?
Yes, so it's physical abuse, physical neglect, emotional abuse, emotional neglect, sexual abuse, mental illness, separation of a parent from the household due to incarceration, divorce, or separation, domestic violence, substance abuse.
That's all of them? You hit them all?
And those are just the baseline. So those are the baseline indicators. There are definitely other indicators as far as with community, things that go on in the schools. Yeah.
Community violence, if you grew up in foster care, racism, sexism, like all this stuff can impact people. So I'm excited tonight to just, we all, everything is tied to adverse childhood experiences. Miss April, did you take the questionnaire today?
Yeah, I did.
You did? And what was your score?
3 and 10.
3 out of 10 to 3.
Or 3 out of 10?
Yeah, 3 out of 10. I'm sorry, I should have had you really introduce yourself. I see I'm rusty. I've been off 1 week and I'm rusty already. Miss April, tell us what it is that you do.
Hi, guys. I'm April Powell. I have a fitness center called Body by Design, the number two. I'm also the founder of Women of Substance Fellowship, which is a nonprofit for women to heal, prosper, and deliver them out of bondage. And just really just loving life and taking care of people. I do rehab work. I do some spiritual counseling. I do small business consultant. Thing that has to do with the body. That's what I
Okay, you serious? I need to stop playing and come over there. I need to come back home with April. I'll be back soon. I
do.
play way
Oh
too much.
yeah, a lot of working out and training.
Yeah. What can you share with us on the topic of the awareness that we're trying to bring today, as far as domestic violence?
What can I bring to? What do I know about that topic?
Yeah. What do you know about the topic?
When I my first relationship and marriage was abusive, and it was I guess at the time, I didn't realize what it was. And of course, we think it's love or um, something's not quite right, but we don't know what it is and or how to even get out of it, right? And so, excuse me. So um, I was in it probably longer than I should have been. And when I knew it wasn't the right thing for me and it wasn't feeling right, I didn't have the support group, or the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge or information to actually get out of it or know how to get out of it. And I think that's what's really important for a lot of women and men to have resources or information about what domestic violence really is and know some of the signs early on. And that's why I really like what you're doing now. hmm It's bringing a
Thank
lot of awareness that I didn't have then. Then for me, it was about family structure and what goes on in the house stays in the house. You didn't express, you didn't talk about things that were going on, um, even even if it wasn't right or didn't feel right. Now, for me in my situation, it was a close knit family, and when I actually even said to my mom, "Hey, this doesn't feel right," or "It's not right," it was like, "Yeah, okay, well, we suck it up and we keep moving." Mhm, You know, and not
you.
everybody's supposed to be happy, and
Mm-hmm.
but that didn't sit right with me. So
Mm-hmm.
I started then doing my own research and outreach and finding answers and finding support outside of my community.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I ended up getting out of it and definitely being okay.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love you. I love what you do. It's my first time ever hearing this, and I've known you for a while, So,
Mhm.
seeing who you are today and everything, like you wouldn't even think that, you experience anything. But I see why you do what you do. Like, most of the time, the stuff that we experience can push us into our why, helping people, being that connection to people, being somebody to talk to. I could cry right now. You are somebody that you could talk to. You could talk to
Don't
about
cry.
I'm
Well,
not, I'm getting
but one of the things that I like to say also is that if I wouldn't have went through that, I wouldn't also be the person I am today.
mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm,
Each thing that we go through in life propels us in our own destiny of where we're supposed to be. And so I
mm-hmm,
don't ever look at it. I did then, of course, but once I
Mhm.
realized that, wait a minute, if I if anything was different, I wouldn't have my kids. I wouldn't be where I am. So I don't look at that as a negative now. I look at it as experience, right? Because I wouldn't have traded it. I mean, I could have. There would have been no way that I could have been as strong as I am today, not going through what I went through,
In your story,
right?
and I'm
So,
sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that was it. Because
Okay.
it's important for people to look at, and you would say look at like Oprah, some of her traumas and the things that she had to go to. Those are your whys, and it's what keeps pushing you to do better, be better, have more, do more, give more, get more. You know what I mean? To be a
Right.
resource for other people. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, I have people coming in that I do hair treatments on. Ah, right? But it's everything, right? It's everything that you go through. Women coming to me, how did you have the courage to cut your hair? Well, if I had the courage to finish and go through what I went through, that's how I got the courage, you know? And so now I have the courage to share it with somebody else. So either they cut their hair or they love their bodies or whatever it is. But all of those things that and where I am and who I am right now came from all of that past experiences.
Mm. I love your little bald head, girl. You see that picture, Fatima? Girl, don't she look hot on that picture? Did y'all see the picture? Let me show y'all the picture real fast.
Now you
I
were
played
messed
too
up.
much.
Thank you, but yeah, yeah, it took a lot. It took silly.
Well, when you said, oh, someone said this. Someone said most okay, perpetrators experience parenting. Everyone stop violence and the kind of parenting, education that reaches everyone. Everyone was. You right, David. You right, David. I gotta I know you asked to come on here and be a guest, and I'm gonna get you on here, David. I'm gonna get you on, okay? I'm gonna get you on. Because David always has some good points, and it is. I can see that. Like you either become a perpetrator or a victim. Like if people it was exposed to domestic violence, as a child or a child that was abused. Um, it is true, but it's like people need. This was why early intervention is important. You know, you know, people should be able to have these resources should have connections, right? Just like you said, like you didn't have it within, and most people within, it's like as if it was just, normal or suck it up or whatever. But once you went
Right.
outside, you got the help that you needed. So it's like, how are you able to trust outside of, the people that you were, connected to, family and stuff? How are you able to trust people outside?
It wasn't a lot of people, number one, but it was more of my spiritual community.
Mm,
Um, I'm not religious, but I definitely am spiritual. So
mm,
I meditated, I chanted, I'm a science of mind person, new thought, new age, and within that community, I found a mentor who has since passed, but he was by my side the whole time. And then a girlfriend of mine who has also since passed, Luana Britton, and what I did was she had the attributes that I needed. So
mm,
she would say what she wanted to say when she wanted to say it, and then I would just pretend I was her and I would say it, or but I had to build myself up to walk, right? I didn't say no a lot. I was a yes person. Um, I didn't have the confidence in myself to, do it by myself. And so I tagged onto her, and we walked together in both of our own paths. Um, and that's how I managed to do it. Within my own family, um, just the sister over me, uh, we were close, and so she was my foundation as far as when I needed somewhere to go or get away or something like that. But it still wasn't a lot of expressing of what was going on, or I would say a lot of talk about what was going on. We knew, or she knew, something was going on, but we didn't really talk about it because that was just what we didn't do. Um,
Right.
but she was there when I needed it. So then for me, it was again that spiritual innateness saying, "This is the way you need to go. Go this way. Go read that book." Um, some people just showing up with having the right information to guide me in the good direction that I need to go in. So, if anything, I would say is that spiritual unctioning guides you that people really need to listen to, because again,
Mhm.
when I knew I should have been getting out of the relationship, I didn't. I heard that voice over and over say, "This is not it," and I go, "Yeah, but it's love," or it's what my mom says. Why am I, not wanting to be in it? And I'm like, well, I guess she's my mom; she should know. But in fact, it was not the case, right? So after I made the decision to get a divorce, I didn't speak to my mom for 3 years because she did said she would never understand why I wanted to be happy. Now I asked her that today, she would say it, but whatever, it doesn't matter. She has Alzheimer's, you know. But
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right, right.
but yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but
Sorry.
even before she had the Alzheimer's, that's what her response was. I didn't say that, but it doesn't matter. The thing is that sometimes we look to those that are supposed to be our support, and they really don't have our best interest because they don't know or didn't have the
Right,
support. People can only tell you
right.
and guide you the way they were guided and give you the information that they had. So I don't have
Right.
any. My heart and my body and soul is very at peace with everything. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's people need, and I want to do say too though, there are resources out there for people, women and men, who are going through domestic violence, but you have to be okay and strong enough to go get those resources. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I still think even to in this day and age, a lot of youngsters still don't want people to know that they're being abused or in relationships like that. So even if you put thousands of resources out there, people still have to they have to reach and in and go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think it needs to be another platform as far as building up the courage to go get it,
Yeah.
because the resources are there. The people
Yeah.
just are afraid um, to go to reach out and get it, but it's there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder, like, yeah, it could be afraid, ashamed, not wanting to, no one to
Mm-hmm.
know what they were experiencing.
No.
Physical abuse isn't the only form of domestic violence. Emotional abuse, woo,
Right.
emotional
Yeah.
abuse,
Verbal.
woo,
Yeah. Verbal.
Sexual.
It's a lot.
ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I just
Well,
think about
all of those things, and I go back to my first, the the marriage that where I was, the first marriage. Um, it was some of all of those things, but again, you still do not know if you that was my first relationship. So, what does love supposed to feel like? What
Right.
is it? Doesn't always feel right, but sometimes it does. Um,
Right.
Sometimes it's good, and then sometimes it's bad. Like, how do you
Right.
start to put together the pieces to see this is what a relationship is supposed to look like and feel if you have never been in it? And I think that's
Right.
sometimes what gets people confused because they're like, okay, yeah, maybe I don't see my mom and dad fuss all the time, or we're not fussing all the time. We curse each other out, but then we make up. Uh, well, we fuss and we fight, and then we buy something. Is that what relationship is? You don't have a foundation for it because you've never seen it. And that, I think that's what I was kind of going back to, is because as you go through those things, you start to be okay with saying, this is not it. This doesn't feel good. But by the time you get to that point, you're already in it. And now what do you do?
Right.
Right. So everybody draws, because like I said, if you took where I was and where I am now, um, like I said, each one of those steps create who you are now. I wouldn't have. I don't know. I just think that I would have. I don't even know. I, mm, I just think that people need to remember that we, whether it be dream boards or whatever, you start to put your life together by your experiences. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
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 You realize
That
I don't
paradigm.
like this,
It's that
so
paradigm.
therefore I'm not going to do that. I like, yeah, speak on that
That
for me, Fatima.
the paradigm. So our paradigm is based on our experiences, what we went through as far as with our parents, our relationship, community, everything. So it gives us this outlook of um of what our world is, right? And sometimes because of those experiences and everything, it's like the way we think. So everything has to do with the way we think. And
Hmm.
even all these experiences and everything, but sometimes it's not really what it is, but in the way that our mind is, that's what it is. Or so it's about, yeah, it's consciousness, but it's about being able to shift your paradigm. And um and and it's hard when you go through experience at times, right? It's very hard because of the shame of constantly being put down. So then we all these self-talk situations in our own head of different things that we say to ourselves, when, like how you said, you have that spirit in you where you feel like something isn't doesn't feel quite right, but we don't know what's
Hmm.
going on. So yes, your perception. So
Hmm.
it's like we don't. I feel like at times we don't honor ourselves enough. So we have to learn how to. And it's just like how you said, like going through the spiritual, learning how to regain trust, and in order to try to shift it to see the good and happiness, in removing yourself from situations, finally getting away from
Hmm.
situations, and yeah, so it's a paradigm shift. It has to do with our paradigm and our experiences and everything.
So our experiences shape who we are. Our
Right.
experiences shape our brain. Our experiences, bad, you know, they impact us. Every experience we have, good or bad, impacts us. So, so
And that's
what you was gonna say? I'm thinking
that's
about
why
this.
I feel like meditation is so important, right? Learning how to be more spiritual and listening, and whether it's reading the Bible, the self-help books, whatever, and just getting that meditation in to do that deep breathing. That deep breathing, it calms so many of those hormones that we deal with that helps function with the brain and everything. It helps calm it down to calm us down, right? So that's why I be
Adrenaline.
feeling like that right. That's why I feel like it's so
Well,
important.
let me. Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with that. I'm going to say again, uh, my time during this was a different time than today's time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different era, right?
Right.
But just today, I had a client come in, and she was asking about. She's a teacher, and she was saying how she has maybe 4 or 5 kids in the room. She's saying they don't know each other, but they all have these same type behaviors of lashing out,
Mm-hmm.
um, tearing stuff up, and writing on themselves or doing different stuff. And I said, because they're not able to express themselves, that's
Mm-hmm.
internal stuff. Like, how do I get this
Right.
stuff out of me? Right. And she said, you can tell that they're all on edge. Well, if that stuff is not addressed as a kid, right, Jamila, as a kid, that's going to keep festering and festering into different areas of expression, good
Tattoos.
or bad. I,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna
I
need
said
her just
no, really, because I just think about
so
tattoos. Like,
so and so. But this was the thing. What she said was, and I asked her, was her class um, could she sit the kids down and have them punch a bag? And she said, yeah, she could be creative if she needed to be. And then we both said at the same time, they need to just learn how to meditate and be okay. Release some of that
Right.
stress. Just learn how to sit and be, right? This husband of mine.
yeah, and that take practice.
Uh,
It takes practice. It has to
Yeah.
be
Oh yeah.
every day. It has to be
but
done.
here they are though, these fifth graders, but needing to learn how to do that. We didn't have that option growing up. You dealt with it, you carried it, you figured it out. Now it's a different time. They're seeing expression every day. Why is this person running around tearing up stuff and doing this or that? I need to be able to get mine out. So she said they just sit there and they tear up paper and different things like that. Creative
Oh,
ways of getting the youngsters to start expressing themselves and get some of that baggage off of them before they become adults, and it leads into some
Right.
abusive circumstances and situations.
because it's like if you have kids doing these behaviors and stuff like this, like behaviors are a way of communication. They're communicating something. So I mean, build relationships with them. Talk to them. That trauma piece, like like she said, they didn't have anything in common, right? No kind of, not the same trauma. Is that what
No,
you had
right?
said?
No,
Yeah. So saying like with the
they're
ACE,
just from different backgrounds. Just 6 kids, all different backgrounds, having the same sort of expressions.
yeah, right. So same with ACEs, right? So everybody could score. So we say we all scored 7, right? Our sevens, just because we scored sevens, like it don't mean we all had the different experiences, right? Um,
Hmm.
you know, the intensity, how frequency they're having, these issues, but they've definitely experienced trauma. And when you have
Hmm.
trauma creates toxic stress. And then toxic stress, like really these risky behaviors and everything that can cause these chronic illnesses. It's important for um, man, I mean, for all of us to become trauma informed, like just knowing how to interact with the children. Yeah, because they probably just want to talk. They probably just want some little attention. That's probably what they want.
Right, but you have a class of 34 kids.
Right.
That's not okay. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
but it should
Right.
be
Or
like,
It's
or
not.
what about or yeah, but or what about the mom who's at home who's already dealing with abuse, domestic violence, and
Right.
the kids need attention, and there's
mhm.
little food, and all of these other things that add
All
up
these
to
dynamics.
even more stress, right? So there's all these different
A fact.
outlets. Jamila,
Uh,
can you put me on mute for 2 seconds so I can finish up with this client real
yeah, yeah, I got you. I wanted to
please?
shit. Oh, did I do it?
Okay.
I thought I did.
Yeah. No, you did, but you took it off.
So California, these are the numbers in California. Every 56 minutes, every 60, every 56 minutes, another forcible rape is happening in the state of California. I wish, well, it seems as if it was updated, but in 2007, California experienced 174,649 domestic violence cases, where a lot of them went unreported. Nearly 40% of those situations involved a deadly weapon. When guns were found to be in the home that was experiencing domestic violence, a startling 64% of the victims claimed the gun was used against them. That's just a bully. That's really a bully. In just a single day, as many as 5,800 women and children were being served in domestic violence shelters scattered all throughout the state. So, homelessness, a lot of women and men too. I mean, the
Right.
numbers was
Right.
one
Right.
out of 4 women and 1 out of 9 men. So men, men experience
Exactly.
domestic violence as well, and it don't have to be just physical. It could be emotional abuse. People will try to tear you down. I was talking to a group of ladies that I meet with on Tuesdays, and one of them was sharing about her experience with domestic violence and emotional abuse, and the things that are said that you can repeat over and over in your head.
Right.
You know, trying not to believe it, but like this person that you love, you care about, thinks this of you, and will say this stuff to you that will really have you like thinking like, damn, like is this true? But yeah, and there's a lot of mothers or fathers who, try to escape that are homeless. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And can you put that hotline number up there again, Fatima?
Yeah. And then, also like a lot of people, that's why mental illness is very, is real, because a lot of people struggle with post-traumatic stress disorder and that are abusive, that are abusive, that don't know how to release it, coming from out of prison, coming from serving, they dealing with their mental issues, and then transform a domestic violence situation within their house. And it's so unfortunate that even some households, it's not even just the wife or the spouse. It goes down to the children, to where the whole family can get killed. It can be a murder suicide situation. So it's very, very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah, man, this stuff is crazy. I mean, just children being exposed to it. I remember having a kid in my child care who I didn't know. I did not know. I asked the mom, is everything going on okay at home? Because the little boy would come in. This was before I was trauma informed, y'all. I totally expelled him out the child care. I was like, you gotta go. I can't do this. But now I would totally just give him some extra love. But he came in, he would come in and he would always go for this one girl, and he would always like hit her. Like, it was always something. I remember him choking my assistant. And I was just like, what is going on? Mom said nothing was going on in the household. I ended up having to terminate him because he was just too much. Like, I did not have the tools that I have now. So he was just too much. He had to go. And so later on, come to find out, the mom was really in a domestic violence relationship. The neighbor, the lady that was living next door, she was telling me what it was that the mom was experiencing. I was like, whoa, like, wow. So these kids are seeing things just like the person, the kid, you can become the perpetrator, right? Or a victim,
Right.
So if you're not being told that this isn't okay, like, you see your mom or your dad doing this and you be the one to do it, or you be the one to allow someone to do it to you.
Right. And it can be very young, so don't get it twisted. Like, and I'm gonna share my own experience of myself being an abuser in a situation. And Rain was around, and she was 1 year old, and she can recall it was. I think it was just like when she was just 3 or 4, turned 3 or 4. She can recall what occurred. Right? It was a tumbling and taking of the phone and everything. Like, she can definitely play by play of what went on, and it was definitely hurtful to hear that, because here I am, regardless of what occurred with her being that young. I didn't think that, okay, she's a baby, she's not tripping, you know what I mean? Like, and it was just a one-time situation that just occurred. But here she is 3 years later telling me what happened.
Listen,
so it was definitely a lesson learned.
So when I was studying, when I was getting my degree in child development and family services, I had to take from Contra Costa College, amazing Dr. Sharif, rest in peace to Dr. Intisar Sharif. We had, my specialization was in violence intervention and counseling. And they were so big on teaching us about the domestic violence piece, about the violence period and how it impacts children, monitoring what it is that they're watching on TV. It's a lot of cartoons and stuff that just because they're, animated or whatever, it's stuff that's going on that we really need to, be aware of. But they were talking, it was a case where it was an infant and that was in a household when there was a domestic violence incident. And they were sharing how, though the infant, didn't get hit or whatever, and just because it was a baby, but the infants are impacted the most. And I don't think some people understand that the way the brain is developing, like, rapidly, between the ages 0 and 3, it's like really a lot of neurons connecting, a lot of pathways and everything created by experience. 90% of the adult brain is developing. So sound, these babies pick up on energy, they hear stuff, like, and it disrupts their brain development. But thank God with Rain is so loved, like she's so loved, like she's loved. She's so lucky to be loved, to get the love that she gets.
Right. She's just so smart too. Right. And like you said, picking up on she know how to read energy so good. She's so intuitive. Like, I love that little girl so much. But for her to, like, that helped me realize my own, even though, I'm going through my own little healing journey as it is, it just made me realize even more of my behavior and how I need to self-reflect a lot. Because here I am raising a girl and boys as well. And even though they didn't experience this in front of them, she did. And I have such a disdain for men from seeing our household situation, right? I don't want her to have that disdain as well. So it definitely helped me change a lot about myself. So.
Cameron said, I think that the standard needs to be set, before the relationship is established, and time need to take place before committing to a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot
And
of
so
people don't know
I
about
was just
dating and a relationship, period. A lot of people don't know about dating. We think that as soon as we start talking to somebody, oh, that's going to be the only person we talk to. And oh, let me put all this into this one person. When
some people
actually,
are like that. Don't knock them. They don't know. They don't know.
no, no,
They just
no, no. I'm
want
just
to
saying,
love.
I was
Like, they
one of
want
those
to
people.
love. Those are the lovers. They just want
Right.
to love. And we don't understand that though we want to love, that's not necessarily the person that we want to love on us. So we gotta,
Right. 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 No,
back.
it's an experience.
Go on, Miss
Yeah.
April. Come on in.
Well, I was going to comment on that comment that you just read. Relationships is every day. People you meet in
Right.
the grocery store, at the gas station. If you learn how to be nice and polite and respectful to those people, then that is a relationship. Everybody that you meet is a relationship. That's why we're here on this planet, to have relationships. We're heavenly beings trying to learn how to be human. And so,
Right. Right.
with that, when you're in a relationship, maybe with somebody who hasn't had the same experiences as you, it's also about being patient and taking the time to direct or in the directions that you might see they have some faults. Once you're able to see it within yourself, right? Because you can't give love if
Right.
you haven't received love. And
Mm-hmm.
just
Right.
in a relationship, uh, in a household, right? You could be, you could have the most loving family and parents and siblings and all of that. But what happens when you go outside that family?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
There's
listen.
a lot of
Mm-hmm.
dynamics that goes on that individuals don't see behind the closed doors. And
You're
some
right.
of
Right.
those traumas is what makes that child or that adult or teen who they become, right? Because remember, most
Right.
rapes or molestation and things of that sort are not always done inside the home. It's by your
Oh,
neighbor, your cousin. You spent the night over your friend's house that you thought was your friend.
classmates.
You went to a party. Those places that make you, say again,
I said classmates.
those
I'm
places that make you classmate, whatever, the high school bathrooms. I mean, there's so many different areas. So we can try to protect our kids and make sure that they understand love and we love on them and we do all of these different things. But I think another thing is important to prepare them for the outside.
mm-hmm.
Not everybody is going
Right.
to be loving like mom. Not everybody is going to talk nice, like the family. Nobody, not everybody's going to love you. Some people are going to not like you just because you showed up.
Listen.
Right.
And we have to prepare our kids for
Listen.
that,
Just because you show up, listen. Like
right?
ain't gotta do nothing to nobody. Ain't gotta do nothing to nobody.
Yeah,
They ain't gonna like you.
right.
Okay.
And I say that sincerely because
Me too.
that's what makes them strong or weak, right? If they're not prepared to go into some of these circumstances, that's when they get caught up because they don't. I've never seen that before. So how am I supposed to respond,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think some exposure to some extent of not. I mean, I don't know. Everybody used to say I wasn't living in the real world, but it was my world,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that if I could look back and redo something, I think that I would have wanted to go to the bad people's house. You know what I'm saying? Because then I would have been able to see that. I didn't see a whole bunch of dysfunction, um, outside of the household. My mom and dad was, I would say my mom was dysfunction. My dad was always trying to keep it together and protect us and kind of guide us. And, yeah, she fussing, but, it's okay. You could still do it. You know what I mean? So we saw that yin
Mm-hmm.
and yang. But we didn't have, there wasn't cousins and aunties. We didn't get to go spend the night at people's houses. And we didn't get to do a lot of stuff with strangers, I would say. right? It was enough of us in the house anyway to do it. But I think if I could have done anything else, I would have wanted to run a little bad, had a little bad girl side, because I didn't experience that. So when things were coming at me that didn't feel like when things were coming at me that didn't feel like love or at home, I was like confused with it. Like, what is that? I don't know how to process it.
I think
So I
that was
think we
Right.
need to be a little exposed than sheltered. What
I
does
thank
this
God
one
for my
say?
older siblings. Whew, I thank God. I'm a baby girl. Thank God for my older siblings. Hey, so Cameron,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing all that you're sharing. Really, he said, I try my best to establish time with my partners to talk about our life. How is she feeling? How am I feeling? Where stresses are present, and how can we deal with them? When you don't share, you build resentment that causes arguments and abuse because people feel like they are not being
Right.
heard, men and women, which I believe is really true. If we think about the five critical needs of a child, okay, y'all, it's the need to feel included, the need to feel important, the need to be accepted, the need to feel secure, and the need to be respected. Right. So, if as children we think about, if we can reflect back and think about those five critical needs and think about what needs in our household weren't being met, did you not feel heard? I feel like at times, a lot of us probably just didn't feel heard. We grew up in households, speak when spoken
Yeah.
to.
No, that was mine.
Kids are to be seen,
Right.
not heard. I can honestly say, like, that's why I talk so much now. Like, I feel like for me to be heard, listen, I was the one always participating in oratorical fest all the time. Phenomenal woman. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, still I rise. I'm all this stuff and I'm saying all these poems. That's how I'm feeling. Like ain't nothing gonna tear me down. That's how I feel. And so, because I didn't have a voice in my household, you know what I mean?
Household.
So
Right.
we find ways to release it.
It's a,
Just like you got rappers and stuff, and hey, people want to release their stuff, they share it. What you think,
and that's
Miss
funny
Rachel?
that you say that because I always thought that I was this shy little girl, right? But I did auditions for KTVU. I wasn't Oratorical Fest. I was performed at the Alice Art Center singing. That was horrible, y'all.
Oh,
That's completely horrible.
you was confident, but
But
that was
you know,
good.
uh-huh.
I said you was confident. That was good. That's
Yeah,
good.
I was very confident, and here I am. Like I always, that's why I talk so loud because I always felt like I just want to be heard. Like I just want to be heard. That's all.
Just
But now
listen.
I'm learning
Listen.
how to calm it
Look. You gotta listen. What's that song
But
Beyonce said?
but how does wanting to be heard, that wouldn't lead to abuse
Well, not being
or
heard.
down.
neglect, or what I mean, in the big scheme of things, right?
Um,
Well, I was. Well, can I say? Well, I was abused. So I was sexually abused since I think I was like 5, right? So I was sexually abused when I was 5. Even within of being dealing with that abuse, which I really start processing now within my 40s. Dealing with that as well as like being bullied at school. So here I am, like I'm such a, I've always been a loving, nurturing person,
it
but
was a
yet and
bully.
still, I don't know, some way I just did not think that I was heard, and maybe I wasn't expressing myself the correct way either, right? Maybe I didn't have the tools in order to express myself or be able to say what I need to say or anything. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Hey, it's a trip
Mhm.
because you got bullied, right? Can you say that you were a bully?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I can say that I can be a bully at times. Yes, but
What you gonna
that's
say?
in means of I feel of protecting myself. Like
Mhm.
even going through my therapy and everything, I was such a sweet kid, very scholar kid at that too. I was a super math geek. I was in math Olympics. I went ahead of my ahead of my math book in school. I was in the Mesa program.
Right.
So here I am.
Well, let's
No,
for a minute.
no.
We need a mind for
No,
a
I'm
minute.
not. I'm fine.
You fine? Okay.
No,
'cause
I'm
I hear
fine. My
coming up.
older kid, but trying to fit in, trying to find myself. You know, it was so much that I've learned. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I used to get bullied.
So I think if I'm ever a bully, it's just me trying to protect myself. And I'm this super sweet person. But I've also learned in my birth chart, I am a very volatile person, right? So that's why, like, me knowing that I can go from 0 to 100, I'm trying to find that balance to be grounded now. So that's what I'm working on now, is having that balance in order to be grounded, in order to learn how to go through battles in my while staying grounded and be listen to people and everything, because I'm not bullshit, right? I want to hear that. Like, I shut down real quick. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to deal with that. I can yell. I used to be a yeller, really. I was down on my yelling.
But one of the things that I think that has to happen is you have to grow into yourself and grow enough to not offended or feel offended by, if you're feeling bullied, to be able to say, okay, I think he's bullying me, and I just need to go, okay, and just let it roll off like a duck in water and not have it affect you. Because if, like the other response said, communication, if you are in a communication, if you're in communication with someone and you feel like they're bullying you, that's a trigger, right? You're going to automatically sit down, or you're going to respond as if you were being bullied, right? And so what we're trying to do, what my goal is to have women to start to look at what it is. Oh, I think he's bullying me, or I think she's bullying me. Okay, I love you in despite that, right? Because you're in a relationship. Now, if it's some stranger and you're getting bullied, that's a whole different thing, right? But if it's a relationship, then it's to stop and say, okay, that's a trigger. I'm just going to walk away. I still love that person, because once you have wounds behind something, those stay there. They don't go away, right? If you feel like somebody is taking advantage of you, and those are some areas that were very hurtful prior, then when you feel that way again, innately you're going to want to respond, right? But what I would like for you to do, or most women, or you guys, women in general out there, and men, is to be in the relationship, to hear what the person is saying, to feel that emotion, and stay in it anyway. Because so many people are like, oh, he just made me mad, or she just said something really foul, and I'm out, I'm done. And so you keep having this cycle of that nobody is staying long enough to process and grow. But if you're in a relationship that's worth, then I think that it's okay. You just hurt my feelings. Okay, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna process that, because my feelings are mine, not yours. And then I can come back and say another time, hey, when you said that really hurt my feelings. I just need you to know that, and you keep moving. And then now that person has the opportunity.
You hear me, Miss April?
Or what?
Nope.
Don't
you need to say, to share. Listen,
yeah, but if you tell that person, don't do that again, they're going to do it again, because they're human and they're still processing.
But they need to be respectful.
You see what I mean? There's processing. Everybody is trying to learn. Everybody is growing.
So look, we doing this. I'm freezing. I'm still freezing. Oh my God, how I look? I'm freezing.
Your mouth wide open.
Don't do that.
You're back.
So,
It was,
so,
but you're okay. You better.
so we're doing this alternative to violence right now, right? So, it's a couple of us facilitating so that other people can become facilitators, and they're learning how to, alternative to violence, how to express themselves. So I was so excited that everybody learned how to do the I messages. I feel this way. So you got to be able to sit with your feelings, know what you're feeling, right? Because you have to be able to
Right,
address it.
right, right.
I feel sad when this is done, and try not to don't say the word you. Don't attack the person. So I feel this way when this is done. Can you please do this instead? Or I would like for you to do this instead. Or I really need you to do this instead because I really don't want to feel that way again.
Right.
Right? And it's like, oh, they probably be like, okay, all right. So, all right. Then you clear on what you need. You said it calmly, and you was clear on what it is I need them to do so that I don't want to feel that way. If you don't want me to feel that way, then you really care. You ain't gonna do it again, right? Communicating how I feel.
But they will do it again.
Right, they will.
Again, and they're gonna do it again, and they're gonna do it again.
No, we're gonna hope that they don't.
They're not gonna get it.
They may.
They're not gonna get it the first time, second time, 20th time. Communication and relationship take time. You can tell them 50 times. I've been married to Mr. Carl for 27 years, and I still tell this man the same thing, and he still does it, right? And it doesn't mean that he doesn't love me. It's just that he just still will do it because he's human, right? Oh, it's a big old bug.
Listen,
right.
I feel like
moth or something.
Yeah, it's hard. I guess it is, and it depends on what it is.
And I love how you said that. Yeah, because people are human, right?
We ain't making no excuses.
Right, everybody is human. It doesn't mean that it does not mean what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should not express yourself, that you should not say how you feel or anything. What I am saying is don't throw relationships away because it doesn't look the way you think it should look right away. I mean, people are going to be people. And I think when you love somebody and when you're trying to love yourself, you give yourself that leeway to say, don't ever say, and it clears in the Bible or somewhere up in there, it says, don't ever say what you're not going to do. I'm never going to do that. Don't ever say that because you will do it. And you will do it again and you will do it again. But if you just hold that, if you just hold that heart space for the person that you're in relationship with, whether it be your parent, your kids, a spouse, a co-worker, right? You show up authentic, coming from the heart, then you don't have expectations. Because I think that's what happens. We have these expectations of perfection, knowing you've been with me for 2 months, so you should know me. No, I don't know you. And we're gonna know it. I have people still to this day be like, I know you, Miss April, I know you. And I'm like, girl, you don't know me. You do not know me. And you go that. And that's the same thing in relationships, right? You think you've been with somebody for a year, they know you by now. They don't know you. Because I think somewhere, Jamila, we were talking about those masks that people, you still have to walk with that mask on because you're not sure of how much you can trust that person. I don't know if I should let my guard down. I've been hurt. I have wounds. I have trauma. I have all these issues. And after a year, you've shown me a couple of times where I had to put my guard back up. So it's taken a little time to bring that guard back down. So just don't think that it's going to be just let me tell you, please don't do that. Well, okay, you can power to the people. It's so it's going to happen again. We want to communicate, but we don't want to have expectations because expectations are always going to let us down. It's always
Because sometimes it's so
go in with a
unrealistic.
light heart. It really is. But going back to the domestic violence part, when you if you took in relationship when they would I know for me it would say, okay, we're fighting. Okay, we're not going to fight anymore. We're done with that. We're not going to do that again. Okay, don't do it again. And okay, and you don't do whatever you did, and I won't do whatever I did, and we're not going to fight no more. Okay, that lasts all about what, a couple weeks
Right.
before
Right.
new,
Right.
a new something up that I didn't even. It was like, no, this is totally different from the other thing. We've been together 4 or 5 years, and I still have never seen that.
But
Yes.
it's interesting, like getting to know somebody, right? So, like, just like they have these 5 critical needs of a child, right? I totally tie it to the 5 love languages, right? So, like, so say being heard or something like that, or the need to feel important or accepted or something like that, right? Um, I'm thinking about like quality time, right? Quality time to me is like the need to feel important. And then you getting to know a person. There could be conversations where you could address what it is that they keep doing that you're telling them that you don't like. And it's like asking, like, well, why do you do that? That's important.
They don't
To
even
have
know why they do it.
they may know.
So,
They may know. So let me tell you, I could be a real asshole in relationships, right? And it's like, it's like I be wanting some communication or something, just something, just a little something, not a lot. And I could really be childish and have a little attitude or something like that. But it's like, yeah, to me, it's like, yeah, like, dang, okay, so this is a way to, gotta get some attention this way or something like that. But to know why, ask. Asking is important.
but why not just express
Okay.
it instead of playing those games? I don't know. Why do we always got to play games in relationships? That it is just like so interesting.
What if you don't know how to express it? What if you grew up in a household where you weren't able to share how you feel?
But see, but
But
see
with that,
that's what I'm saying. Hmm. Go ahead, Fatima.
no, ma'am. I'm listening to you.
Oh, well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think that it's actually games that people are playing. I really don't think that they know how to be in relationship. You got to remember right now, especially, there is no real of relationships, and if there are, they're not being shown, right? Especially
Mhm.
within our communities, they're the hip hop and they're bouncing from one person to the other one because she didn't buy me a car or she asked me for some money and I didn't, whatever, and they're throwing it away, not working on relationships, right? I don't know
Mhm.
what who that was for, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
and so when you don't know how to express yourself, that's what you do. You leave,
Right.
and I
Uh,
don't think that we have enough good examples of relationships and or good relationships. Now let's tie this. I'm going to tie this back into the domestic violence, right? Um, a lot of women and men, a lot of women and men. I'm going to say again, have had good examples of relationships, have seen good relationships. I think a lot of the problem is, for me, it was, um, what do you say? It's kind of like it feels good, but it don't, kind of thing. It was
Mhm.
new enough uh, that it was good, and then I wasn't when the abuse and the, I mean, the verbal and these different things started happening. It threw me off, but it never threw me off until it got really, really, a little bit further in, um, to do something about it. I kept reaching out, like I said, to my parents at the time, but it was no, you know, nothing going on right there. So, but I just think that a lot of people today, we would say, is just staying in relationships for some sort of financial gain, male or female. I don't think that all domestic violence could be really chalked up to just saying that, um, the people have aces. I mean, some people. I heard one guy tell me, um, he had never seen abuse until he was in high school, and some guy slapped the girl and told him to give
Woo!
her to give him her money, and he was like, "Oh, well, that's cool." So now you going around slapping folks,
For the money.
and where did that come from? That is just an idea that I can grab on, try it.
Yep.
So are guys seeing this image more so even now? That and girls, oh, let me just, oh, I can be abusive. I can curse you out, call you all kinds of names, and you're supposed to stay there. No, nobody.
Right.
That doesn't feel good to anybody. So that is
Anybody.
abuse
Right.
to anybody. And I just think we have to be strong for the women, and men that are in abusive relationships. You have to really seek out some support outside of your normal system or your environment. Don't be afraid to get counseling. Don't be afraid to, report it, um, or whatever it is and whatever it takes for you to be safe. That's always first and foremost. Um, and then, getting the help that you need. And like I said, whatever the resources are, seek them out, because you can do that. And I would not trade the life that I have now for anything. I wouldn't also trade where I come from, for anything, because again, it made me who I am today. Um, Being resourceful, being compassionate, understanding, everybody
Right.
has their something. You get one, and if you haven't dealt with your issues with that one, the next one's going to come with, something else that you're going to have to deal with. And then if you
Right.
understand that it's to make you stronger, to help you grow, um, uh,
I think what you
well,
was
sometimes it does.
yeah, because I think what she was saying, Quando, was that that's what I got from it, like the finance thing. Like if it's like people staying in a maybe staying in a relationship because of the finances, like accepting the abuse.
Right,
Yeah, because they can't,
right.
which is
Where else am I going to go? They're so used to it. Where else am I going to go? And,
yeah,
and I know
Right.
that to be a fact, because I'm 58 years old, and I just had a 63-year-old come in, and we were talking about that. I would leave,
mhm,
but the old adage is cheaper to keep her. So she's staying in the relationship because she's 63 years old. What am I going to do now?
mhm,
So not saying that was, but the relationship was, she hadn't had the courage or the strength or the resources to get out sooner. So now that it's later, I'm stuck,
mhm,
and it's a
Right.
financial stuck thing, right? Because I'm used to my livelihood, I'm used to the way I'm living, and he takes care of whatever needs to be done. So I'll have the strength or the courage to do
mhm,
whatever it is that I need to do to get out of it. So yes, not, and please forgive me, and not by any means saying that women or men choose to be in abusive relationships because of money. Um, but sometimes it ends up in
Being
that,
that
yeah,
way. Right.
ends up that way.
yeah.
That they
Quando,
stay
And
in. I
some
will say that they stay in.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
it was a
so
lot of
sad how I mean, go.
no, because we got comments coming in and it's stuff that we, things that we had addressed. Go ahead. Who's going,
No,
Miss Linda?
I was just saying
Oh,
it's
I'm
so
done.
unfortunate that fear of that fear of yeah, well, of not having the resources, but at times do people even look like, it just, I don't know, fear plays a part in a lot of things with our mindset at times, and that self-talk and everything. And it's so
Mhm.
unfortunate that you know we always have a fear, it's the fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen, but it's always like thinking that the worst is going to happen. Or, okay, so I don't have the finances in order to leave, but what if, what if God does provide them once you leave? Like, you never know unless you do, right? But it's always a fear of
Yeah.
thinking that something bad is going to happen instead of actually what's the outcome of the good of actually going to happen.
It's fear. It's scared. You don't know.
Right. Well, let me address that because I think one of the comments was something about leaving. I literally had to plan and plot my leave. Um, I knew I was ready to go. I had made up my mind. I was like, I'm getting out of this. I went to the courthouse and had filed for the divorce and all of these different things. Got uh, the county clerk, everybody helped me, did all these different things. It was just boom, boom, boom. It worked out. And I planned, I said, okay, when he leaves to go to work, okay, I'm going to make sure he's on the freeway. And then I'm going to pack the kids. They were at school. I already had the moving van around the corner. I mean, I emptied a 3-bedroom family room garage in like 3 hours. That house was packed and I was out of there, right? You get things done when you got to, right? I was like, out, I'm
Mm,
done. And so the fear part was leaving. Man, I remember telling my girlfriend, she said, we're gonna move to Vallejo. And I said, oh my gosh, I don't have, what am I gonna do in Vallejo? And I don't have family there, and we're starting over, and I don't know, just why. She's like, are you serious? Your your family here ain't helping you. I mean, like it's you and me, girl. Are you tripping, right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
you're self-employed here. You can find work to do there. Are you coming or going? And I hee-hawed for about a week before he was getting ready to leave. And I was like, okay, I'm going. Because she was my security and she was right. But again, we so stuck as, well, my sister's right here, my family, I'm gonna be farther. No,
Mm-hmm.
that didn't make any difference. And once I moved and was willing and took that leap, I mean, my life is just straight up. I mean, straight up. Like you will not know the good that's on the other side until you take that step. And I'm going to tell you,
you do it.
I'm still, and every day I just go, I can't believe. No, I can believe it because yeah, I can believe it. But
Right.
it
Right.
has just been amazing and still is. Every step has been amazing and continue to be. So I encourage you, if you are in relationships that you want out, again, seek out the resources, seek out help. Don't be afraid. Now I will say you can't tell everybody because you really kind of already know who you can't tell. Okay,
Right.
because then if you get somebody to tell and they throw it in your face or hurt you, now again more trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So find those
Right.
persons that you can trust, counselor or a good friend or somebody outside of the family that you can trust and that you know you can, and get out of it because the road and the life that you have outside of that abuse and circumstances that you're not happy in is so much greater. And I go back, what is that? I
So
can do bad all by myself. You can do damn
mhm.
good all by yourself.
Okay.
Damn
Really,
good.
really, really.
Uh, I
It
love
does.
you, Miss
So
April. Like,
that's for
girl, whenever I'm
everybody.
I'm sorry. Is it delay? Is it delay? No.
I don't know.
Oh, I was telling you that I love you, Miss April.
I love
Yeah,
you guys too.
yeah, I can't wait. Like the stuff, yeah, you just everything. You walk into that business that you have, you can share it again. What it is that you do, share the location. Um, but I really think about just when I'm on the table, when I'm getting my little colonic on. You got all this positive stuff. You got all this positive stuff around. Get that shit out of you, literally. Just like.
Right. That's absolutely right. That's right. Get it out. Literally, get it out. Yeah. Body by Design. I'm located over here at 433 Tuolumne Street, next to the county building, and it's by appointment only. But you guys are welcome to call me 707-853-5239. And yeah, doing colon hydrotherapy, personal training, diet, weight loss, muscle stimulation, cavitation, boom, boom,
Everything.
boom. I think that's it.
Whatever you need to design
Yeah,
your body.
anything that has to do with the body, we got it. Yeah.
Mind, body, and soul.
And let me
Or if anybody just want
right,
to
and
call
let me
in,
tell y'all,
yeah, we got that spiritual side too.
Yep.
right.
Mm-hmm.
What you said,
No, I'm telling them they
Well,
better go
thanks
get
for
that
having me. I
colonics.
appreciate it.
I get that shit right. Full shit. Put the address in,
Yeah. Ooh,
Fatima. What? I'm sorry, because it is. It is. It's shit.
433.
Man, but
Yeah,
oh my.
it's so easy. Just go to my website. Just go to
Okay.
my website,
Okay.
bodybydesign, the number 2.com.
Go to
Okay.
the website. Go get that colonic though. Don't be scared to get it, y'all. It's a
Man, because it got a lot to do with our stresses or everything. Like, man, you better holding on to all that toxic waste is
Yeah.
not good at all.
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
see.
Maybe
Let
we
me
could
see.
have another talk about the health and
Yeah.
okay, give me a call.
Yeah.
Talk about the health benefits of, you know, everything
The
and how,
Yeah,
like you
that
said,
client.
Fatima, how it all goes together. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
because it's
That's awesome.
Okay.
woo.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Don't be trying to rush
Thank
us
you,
off,
Who's cooking dinner?
Fatima.
You want me to
I'm
come bring
coming to
you
get
something?
it.
Fatima.
No,
Nah, I could come to you.
I'll cook.
Got a dead fish. Um.
Okay, let's go.
Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all. Fatima, opportunist. Get on my nerves. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I really hope that you all found the information that was shared. Very important. Though we, a lot of us can experience ACEs or experience all kind of adversities and everything. There are protective factors. There are positives that can come out of it. It's important that you do have support. Social connections are very important. Social connections, and we got internet. We got access to all kind of information. So Google, see where those resources are, and if you need help, really reach out to somebody that you can trust, that you can share what's going on, who can be supportive to you. Um, Check out Body by Design too. Go sit on that table or get whatever service. This is what I recommend on your first visit. Get a service where Mrs. April have to be hands on with you. Okay, so get her in the room with you. Okay, so do that on your first visit. Okay. Any last thing you want to share, Miss April?
I'll get you straight. No, that's it. I just welcome any comments or calls or whatever, however I can help. But don't bring the BS because I'm not the one.
Okay.
If you want to
Listen,
get straight, I'll help you get straight
listen. Don't
all
bring the
day.
BS.
But you got to be ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, sorry, Quanda. We went overtime. We overtime by 20 minutes. Oh, sorry. We'll be
That's
back
okay.
on next week every Wednesday, 7:30. different guests, different discussions. It's important to have these discussions. So
Yeah.
yeah, we love you
Yeah.
all. We'll see you
I
next week.
appreciate you
Everybody
guys.
have a blessed
Good
evening.
night.
Don't go nowhere, Miss April.
Okay.